Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. As you guys know, there is no second best live YouTube stream to talk about the markets. Happy Thursday, guys. September 11th, coming into, we're getting really close to the end of Q3. I will say, we will talk about it, I think, later on this show, but I think that Q4s throughout this market cycle have been very positive. I have to imagine that some tailwinds are coming for risk assets across the board, but we'll talk about that and more here in just a second. I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. Oh, sorry. I'm joined by Big Louie and, of course, Max. Welcome to you guys as well. Hope we're having a great day. Hope everybody is staying safe. The markets, they've kind of been bombarded by I don't know about, news, yes, but also macroeconomic data really over the course of the last few days, the last few sessions. How we trade out of it, I think, is going to be more important than really how we've traded this week, right? In the sense that, when you have these macro events like every other day, just one after the other, positioning doesn't really know exactly how to handle itself, right? And we've kind of seen that thus far. It's been a pretty up and down week. I feel like this is pretty well reflected by, probably the Ethereum chart, right? Which is just like in this massive compression over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I want to say the others chart is a larger version of this as well. But yeah, it's a market that hasn't quite made up its mind. Where do we think the market's going next, though? Before we can answer that question, I think you guys know what I'm about to ask you to do. If you guys can hit the like button for us, we are going to cook for you today. We're going to send you off. Well, I guess it's not quite the end of the week, but we're going to give you a great Thursday show. If you guys could just oblige and hit the like button for us. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to keep the lights on here at BB with these YouTube streams. But as far as the market directionality, I know we had CPI today, we had PPI yesterday, we've got FOMC next week. I guess it's kind of a TBD to how the market is going to react. I would like to think that we will get some clarity, though, with how we trade into FOMC and how we trade out of it, right? We had macroeconomic data this week. Market doesn't quite know how to react. Now that I think we have the information that we need, whether it was expected or not, you would expect the resulting positioning unwind, whichever direction that is going to be, to probably give us maybe a truer tale of direction here across the board. Will that be higher? Will that be lower? We'll discuss on today's show, right? Do you think that this move we're seeing in crypto, like this, I would say this perking up strength from Bitcoin throughout the course of this week, is potentially a fake out before lower? Or do you think this is the beginning of a new uptrend that takes us to all-time highs here into Q4? I see compelling arguments for both, quite frankly. So I am very interested to see how we trade really over the next 1 to 2 weeks. I don't want to ramble for too long and say nothing. So I want to open the floor to you guys. We don't have to make comments on the macroeconomic data. I think CPI was basically in line with expectations. It really doesn't matter, in my opinion, what the inflation data is at this point. I think the labor data is much more important and how they're going to make policy at FOMC. But what do we think about the market, macro charts? What are you guys looking at for signal here? Because it has been a bit of a noisy week. We are getting relative strength from Bitcoin. I would say equities are, still chugging higher, more or less. Do we think that this is going to continue? Do we think this is a fake out? How are we viewing the market right now?
You want to take it, Max, or
all you, Louie?
Well, I try not to look too much into the data and all that stuff, all the headline news, all that noise. I really don't like to look too much into it. Obviously, working in this, in this industry I haven't been working in this industry a long time, but being in these markets for a long time, I've come to the conclusion that it's well more of a distraction, and something that's going to give you signal and an edge in these markets. what I do like, right, is during that time period that Tommy just mentioned, multiple economic data points, multiple macro headlines, events, and stuff like that. All the while, we've had Bitcoin trading at methodically into high time frame support of the chart. That's what I've been watching. I've been watching Bitcoin slowly but surely putting in what I think is a throwback of an all-time high breakout from our local top in January of this year. I've been since watching price begin to curl and find buyers stepping in at these major market structure levels on the chart, which most people are not even thinking about for some reason. They're not considering it. So yes, we're getting economic data kind of skewed all over the place. We're getting different readings on what the Fed's going to do. That's all fine and dandy. What I'm looking at is a high time frame chart, an asset that has broken its all-time highs, has since been trading and throwing back into that level, attempting to flip it into support, and seeing some promising reversal and bounce off that support. All the while, we're getting this flurry of economic data and predictions on what the Fed is going to do. And I'm liking what I'm seeing, right? I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm also using this brand new indicator that me and Max have been cooking up, more Max than me. I kind of just gave him an idea and he ran with it. We're calling this the meat stick meter. And on the daily time frame, we have flipped from red, sell, bearish print on the meat stick meter to now green on the meat stick meter. Yesterday, printing our first green candle since this sweep of the high we made back in the middle of August. So first green candle reading on the meat stick meter on the daily time frame. That's bullish, right? We have RSI pushing back above the 50 level on the daily time frames. That's bullish. We have all this happening at high time frame support market structure on the chart. That's bullish. I'm looking for a reversal, and I'm looking actually for Bitcoin to lead this reversal as well, because I think what we're seeing here is we saw a all-time high break for Bitcoin. What was the day here in July, right? But this was not the true breakout, right? In my opinion, that you would normally get out of a multi-month, like a half a year long range here. This was a bit lackadaisical, right? This was a bit lackadaisical. Why? Likely because you had a lot of people chasing this move, expecting to, Bitcoin making new highs, hearing it in the news. We're scared here, forced to buy in on the all-time high break, thinking they're going to catch a free ride up into 200K. And they've just been since getting chopped up for the last 2 months. But all in all, this was, a break of all-time highs, but it wasn't the true breakout. I think we get the true breakout, once this throwback is complete. And it's looking like it's close to that. So, this is a throwback. And then we should see the true breakouts for Bitcoin ensue here, which I think is coming before the end of the month.
Bitcoin's at a big level, I think. It's kind of the level to put up or shut up, in my opinion, for the breakout.
Yeah.
I think if you clear 115 with acceptance, you're probably going to come all the way to all-time highs. I don't really know if I think you're going to get back to like 118 and then reject there. I think if you clear this level, you're probably going back to the highs. And I think the same is true for obviously things like Ethereum, which still have not, I really expected kind of some more shenanigans from CPI. Like we didn't take any liquidity on ETH. So we're still just kind of incubating. Unfortunately, I wish we had a little bit more clarity on that chart, but right now I think ETH is leaving. It's still leaving those highs protected. So I'm taking notice of that, which is kind of why I'm saying for Bitcoin, like we should be pumping here if we're going to go back to the highs. Because if we reject here, I think contextually that would make sense for ETH to reject, given that we have now protected the highs from the last, for how long has it been? Like 2 weeks. God, I cannot believe ETH has been trading in such an awful range for as long as it has. But hey, I guess it did the same thing for even longer back in May and June. But yeah, I would like to see Bitcoin clear this level because I would like to see ETH actually break above, this range that we've been trading in for like 14 days. It's pretty clear that a big move is cooking. I'm absolutely shocked we have not run more liquidity yet.
Yeah, I mean we've seen ETH do this before though. We've seen ETH stop on a dime and not take that super obvious liquidity a couple times this cycle. One example I think of, Tommy, is right here. This was, let me zoom out here first. This was when ETH was kind of breaking out of its bear market support, right? So we put in a I guess a year-long bear market base, right? We were breaking out of it. And yet again, probably had tons and tons of people trying to catch a free ride on this pump, thinking that they're catching a free ride on ETH after, not taking the risk and positioning down here. They think they could just see a green pump and catch a free ride. They were wrecked. But zooming in, because I remember this time because I was actually leverage longing ETH at these levels. And this really looked like, maybe I got to go on the 6 hour here. Sorry, guys. I could go scrolling back and forth here. But this was, I remember very vividly, everyone was calling for a sweep of these lows, right? Because it's obvious, right? So you got a potential breakout. You got the rejection. This looks like a false breakout. You had ETH return to its order block, the origin of the original breakout. And at that point, coming down this low, it's like, okay, all the traders like, all right, we're definitely going to run this obvious, these obvious lows, right? And ETH never did. It never came and took the rest of this liquidity, even when we were this close, right? And we stopped on a dime, slowly drifted higher, and then eventually ETH ran to 5K. You guys see what happened?
I think this is a great example of market structure, Louis, of within a trend, the fact that ETH protected those lows and then started to grind back up was a pretty clean sign that we were going to go higher. What you would typically see if it was going to break down would be if it took those lows and then gave you some sort of liquidation bounce after taking them, it probably would have broken down and traded lower. But we clearly saw that the lows were protected back then and price went higher. And in the same way, ETH right now is protecting these highs. I want to see them get broken. I really do want to see them get broken. Maybe we have to trade a little bit lower and swipe below that range's liquidity before we do trade higher. But in the same way that ETH protected those lows back in 2024, I guess it was, into like the turn of the year. In the same way ETH protected those lows, right now it's kind of protecting these highs. And, I would really like to see that trend shift.
Are you referring to these?
Yeah. I cannot believe we didn't take those highs on this. I was awake and just like eagerly awaiting a short of that sweep, and we just didn't get it, man. We just didn't get it.
They will bait you one more time, and then one more time, and then the sweep comes, and then the other sweep comes, and you end up in a crabbing market before you realize that the cycle top is in.
So like that, Jackus, that's what you're expecting? Something like that?
I don't know how you guys, I've been saying this to our Discord community all week. I think the longer we hang out here without ETH breaking down, I think it should be viewed as bull chop rather than like a sweep pending. Because we've had a boatload of headlines. We've had a boatloads of economic data. And it doesn't really matter what the headline is or what the economic data is, because they're just used to take out positioning, right? So we've had every print under the sun. We've had probability shifts in, the next FOMC rate decision. And ETH is just kind of chopping here. I think the longer we hang out here, the more likely it is that we don't take out those lows. But of course, we still have the big FOMC to look forward to, which, CPI and PPI couldn't get it done. Maybe it's FOMC, right? But I'm not viewing this as something you should be shorting into, because it might not happen. It's really hard to get a read locally on the structure, because it's not even a structure. It's just like flatlined.
Yeah.
But Louis, you had a nice tweet about this. Don't short a boring market, right?
Yeah. That's it's a good rule to follow, right? It's a good rule to follow. You never short a boring market, because the meat stick's waiting for you.
I very much so recognize the potential for a drop down there.
Yeah.
Like textbook range trading, take out the high, take out the low. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
There's also a big inefficiency down at 4,100 to 3,900. I get that, right? I see it. It's one of those things for me where it's like, I think there's an equally large risk in just selling your bags in anticipation of that low getting taken, as there is maybe just having to hold through and take that drawdown on the chin, because if it comes, it's probably going to get sucked up quickly, and that'll fuel the next rally. So
yeah,
no one knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, no one knows for sure. None of us up here know for sure. We just understand
the more positioning we build here, the more I'm kind of hoping we don't trade below those lows, because it would feel less like a sweep.
Is there anything in the derivatives data that's indicating to you, Tommy, is one side crowded here, or is one side really off sides, for a move? Like anything you're seeing?
I mean, it's kind of a mix, I would say. It's kind of a mix. I think the skew on ETH is fine. It's worse on Bitcoin if we don't break out, because a lot of effort has gone into pushing price back into this level. Sailor's buying today, by the way. There's Coinbase Premium. MicroStrategy is red. Michael Saylor is back in the books, for better or worse. And yeah, I mean, I think you need to break out here, because if you don't, there could be a decent positioning unwind if this is like a bearish retest of this level for Bitcoin.
Well, Bitcoin, even if it continues to move higher here, we've got a lot of supply at 118, right? In my view, that's going to be the level that really needs to be conquered. Like, I will say this. What we're seeing here at the lows is constructive. You're seeing the first attempt at shifting market structure to the upside in weeks, right? Going back all the way to when the top was in. So there's something going on here, right? But I think the real battle begins at 116 to 118. You were to draw a volume profile, you can see exactly what I'm talking about.
I was just about to say, Louis, can you draw a volume profile from July 9th to the present?
I don't draw those.
I don't draw those.
So if you go to
my religion, I don't draw volume profiles.
And you type in fixed range volume profile.
Louis is a one-trick pony, man. He just sticks with what he knows,
That's it. This one?
If you put fixed instead of fix, you'll be able to. This is a great indicator, by the way.
Okay. And then how do I do it?
Click.
Oh, wait, do I got to get rid of this? Didn't come up.
Louis, let me make it really easy for you. See your toolbar on the left side of your chart, where you
don't hurt him, guys.
Click on click on that one right there. Click and then see fixed range volume profile.
Wait, that's on TradingView?
And then click July 9th on your chart. Click right there. And then drag it to the right. And click again. Boom. There you go. So that's your supply right there. That's when the real test begins.
I don't
See-
love that the POC is so high. I will say that.
What, like this big bar here? Is that POC?
Yeah.
The point of control, that line, is the region in which the most volume has occurred.
So yeah, and
So if we're below it, that means that obviously if there were buyers up there creating that volume, they're underwater. If
yeah.
there were sellers up there, which of course there was a mix of both, there's a lot of sell pressure at that level.
Yeah, I mean, I visually just see that through the price action, you know. So, but I like the visual as well. That like this is a magnet, right? And this is the supply area we got to get through. So, I would agree, right? I would agree, and I would think if this is going to be, you know, our bottoming structure here, and we are going to get a move, I think we are going to get a push at least up into this level, which takes us to this area. So heavy supply above, right? So if you do want to short, like Max said earlier, you know, you wait for a pump, right? You don't short the boring market, right? You short the pump or the squeeze or the move up, looking to kind of catch that swing fail or rejection. Shorting just in like this, expecting just a puke out of nowhere, is a recipe to get chopped up, you know. And same thing with longs, right? Sometimes you get long in here, right? But a lot of times you're better off waiting for that swing down, take the risky longs, and then you get that premier entry, right? But shorting or longing in this type of environment is risky business. So if I had to assume, I'd say a lot of leverage traders have been getting chopped up on Bitcoin and ETH, and it's probably skewed both ways, long and short.
I've been enjoying trading altcoins a lot more than Bitcoin and ETH for the last probably 2 weeks. I mean, ETH has been absolutely miserable to trade. I will say that.
Yeah, you can't trade
tried my hand.
Are you telling me you're not nailing 20R scalps every single day?
Yeah, Tommy, that's a skill. That's a skill issue, my friend.
I'm sorry, I just made it on this 50-point ETH dump.
Sorry, you guys aren't good
We
enough.
simply didn't use enough leverage.
The power of leverage.
Well, I'll tell you this: if ETH can start moving above 4,500, I think new highs comes very quickly. But until then, keep expectations relatively tame, because it's just, you never know.
I'll still be in the
still think the
minority
best
here, but I think that this range is bullish, but not for the next local move. It's bullish that, you know, big guys are accumulating, then they will use it as liquidity to send the price a little lower, hunt all that liquidity, get filled more, shake people, and then pump it.
So you're saying one more sweep?
One bigger, more sweep.
Of course. Unbelievable.
It's definitely on the table. It's always on the table. It's always on the table, but we will see.
But guys,
I'm interested to see what the heat maps look like.
Q4 is coming. Q4 is historically the best Q4. And I say, why not revisit seasonality into Q4?
I've been talking about this, Jackus. I mean, everybody keeps saying that seasonality doesn't matter anymore. And I don't think this summer was really an indication that that's the case.
Yeah.
Because we had small caps move, we had low volume, we had ETH Bitcoin outperformance, and we had volatility get nuked. That's pretty much right in line with what we see every summer. But sell in May walk away didn't play out. So I know everybody's like, oh well, Q1, you know, seasonality didn't really play out the same way. I
kind of have if you sold out.
Say that again.
It kind of have if you sold out in May.
I guess it did, yeah, but not ETH, right? But not ETH.
Sure.
Because of that, I think that people are discounting probably how bullish Q4 will be, maybe simultaneously discounting that Q3, or rather September, could still be, you know, a negative month, potentially. We'll see.
What about one more sweep? What about one more sweep of the highs?
Dude, if we sweep the highs from here and dump, I'm done. I'm done.
That's what I think is the pain we will go through, unfortunately.
Man,
The market makers knows no mercy. So they will range you for 3 more days, then sweep the highs. You're thinking, oh, we're finally leaving. Nope, it was just a sweep of the high. Now time for sweep of the low. And guess what? They are so cute when they fight. Snape snap.
the Hotel California range on ETH. That's what I'm going to call this little like micro range we've been trading in.
I mean, in hindsight, consolidation above, a year-long range breakout and an all-time high resistance up in this area, it makes a lot of sense. And this is something we were talked about when we were breaking out here, right? When we were breaking out of this range. We talked, we were like, are we going to squeeze higher? Are we going to drop back inside the range, consolidate? We talked about, it's likely that we squeeze higher. But something I was mentioning more or less in the Discord as well, obviously more in there, is that, a time-based, consolidation, whether here, right, in between the all-time high and this, this multi-month year-long range, makes sense, right? Makes sense. We've had a long, a pretty fast move off the lows, consolidation and reaccumulation right under the all-time high resistance and right above previous resistance flipping into support, I think is extremely bullish, right? This is a pressure cooker, right? You have a 2020 all-time high resistance. You have your multi-year range, where you just flipped into support, so it's now support. And this is just a pressure cooker as price kind of consolidates and reaccumulates up in here, which is ultimately going to be the recipe to, ignite a sustained rally into price discovery. So if we didn't get it here where we're getting it now, we're going to get it. If we didn't consolidate here, we just kept going up in a straight line. We were likely going to get a massive, big, scary drop out of ETH of some sort, or it was just going to probably happen up here, right? So I actually don't mind this chop, consolidation, reaccumulation in here. One, it gives us some nice market structure at this all-time high level, similar to what Bitcoin did, right? And we're seeing that market structure kind of do its job for Bitcoin, seeing a nice bounce. And two, it's going to help us sustain the rally, right? And then we could, have that bullish Q4 with less pit stops along the way. So I really don't mind it, and it's something that we've talked about as a potential possibility. So it's playing out a little wonky, a little weird, but it is playing out nonetheless. So
it's really funny how this market is just like completely boring, with the exception of like a few days where everything happens at once.
Yeah.
Always.
Baba has pumped to new highs.
Really?
Actually, Baba has outperformed Bitcoin since June 24.
Holy moly. Yeah, I won't lie. They shook me out of Baba.
Let's pull up the chart.
Still time to get in. Get in on the train.
Time for a good entry.
Station.
Good time to enter, Jackus?
Yes.
Wow, look at that weekly meat stick.
It's buy high, sell higher season.
This is what I call this is manipulation. Bang. This is why breakout trading is not a profitable business. Right? That's a nice move. This is the real move now, right? So yeah, this looks good.
Baba in few years will be trading at 1,500 in my opinion.
Wow. Okay. This is a relatively fresh chart too. Is Alibaba really only in public since 2014?
Maybe. I don't know enough about it.
On the US exchanges, at least.
On US exchange.
I was about to say, I know I've been buying jerseys from Alibaba for longer than 2014.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
my
sexy
go-to
chart.
place in high school to shop for vintage sports jerseys.
That does look pretty textbook cumulative.
Speaking of sexy stocks, Riot looking really good.
Yeah, right. Does look good. It's interesting to see Bitcoin miners perking up and actually kind of diverging from Bitcoin.
And that's something that also has me very optimistic and bullish here is I think, you know, seeing miner strength over the last couple days specifically is pretty much signaling the true story here, which is likely a big move coming. But I mean, yeah, this is a beautiful breakout for Riot, pretty much consolidating here and ping-ponging for 2 years, right? So it's been a tough play. If you've been trying to play the Bitcoin miners for the last 2 years, you've been pretty much chopped up. But beautiful chart, breaking out of a multi-year consolidation on the weekly. And, you know, something I noted, I did a video on the Bitcoin miners last week, talking about the potential rally out of the Bitcoin miners. And one thing I touched on was the timing or the seasonality of when these miner stocks like to pump, because, you know, it's very obvious and to tell here that this, you know, the Bitcoin miner stocks are either doing nothing or they're meat sticking, right? It's kind of one or the other. But if you look at each time, you know, you see a big move out of these stocks, it's always in Q4, right? It's always starting, you know, in September, and then you're seeing a big move October, November, right? So we saw it here, 2017. We saw it here in 2020, October, bang, right? Kind of like, it's like, okay, it's October of a halving or post halving year or of the halving year. Let's rip it, you know? And once again, you know, coming into Q4, early September, coming into October, November timeframe, and we're starting to see the miners perk up. You know, so we have, you know, we have the consolidation, right? The multi-year consolidation. We have the kind of seasonality, and we're seeing leaders like Riot already kind of starting to break out. So you kind of have the perfect storm here for miners. Although pretty difficult to catch, right? To catch these moves. But if there ever was a time, I think it could be coming here. And I do love to see the Bitcoin miners starting to chat, right? Because when you see these stocks go, right? This was October, November of 2020 and pumped all the way through 2020, you know, beginning of 2021. This was pretty much when the bull run of last cycle started. You know, late 2020, early 2021. So Bitcoin miners, to me, starting to pump, and if they are really breaking out here, is a bullish sign.
Speaking of bullishness, Louis, pull up Bitcoin, pull up your meat stick meter, and look at the update.
Okay.
Just pushed it real nice for you.
Daily?
Yeah, go to the daily. Pull back up the meat stick meter. You're going to like this one.
Is it on this one as well, the 3 color?
It is only on the 3 color. Yeah.
Okay.
Go to your settings. Scroll down. No, it's not you might have to refresh your screen. Shoot. I made your dots for you.
Nice. Let's see here.
You're gonna like it. Men's Warehouse. You're gonna like the way it looks. I guarantee it.
You know, nobody's ever seen Jackass and Jeff Bezos in the same room together.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
He's a dot.
You got me.
You got me. Not gonna lie, that GIF has made me want to consider rewatching Breaking Bad.
What a legendary shows we used to get, right?
Look at that.
I know. Now I feel like I've almost watched every show and I don't have anything to watch anymore.
Have you seen? Have you seen C? C.
See what?
C.
See,
I'm almost like afraid. I feel like you're setting me up.
I'm not. It's literally like its name. It's C.
Don't believe his lies.
It's its main stars is Jason Momoa, and it's set in a apocalyptic world where people don't see, like they don't have a sight, most of them, and it's like 500 years after today, and they basically live like people used to live like 2,000 years ago, or it's I don't want to spoil something, but it's
What is it
it's
on? I can watch
it's
it.
on Apple TV.
Okay, I have that.
Check it out. It's
What do you
pretty
guys think of the
good.
new iPhones?
I gotta say I haven't seen sorry, I haven't yeah, in a long time I haven't seen a show in which I wouldn't be bored with a single episode. Like every single episode is very entertaining, I gotta say.
I really thought you were setting me up, Jackus. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was gonna say
that's that's
like,
the part.
CDs.
You need to be totally unpredictable. Sometimes I am, sometimes I am not. You never know.
Anyway, sorry for taking the show on a tangent for a minute.
Yeah, it's pronounced as here a little micro sailor is saying like the sea. So I'm gonna listen to radio. Man got stuck in the 70s.
ICUP.
Oh yeah, I remember that, dude. Every sixth grader on the planet when I was in middle school was into that one.
And then they threw in the funky colors.
Life was much simpler then.
Oh yeah. What do we think of Coinbase stock?
I really
Looks
don't know what
bullish
to
to
make
me.
of this one.
I don't think you can have altcoins performing well without coin at least holding up.
Yeah.
How much of the relative outperformance of coin is behind us? I think we'd need to look at some pair charts, but I'm not bearish on this chart. And high time frame structure is weekly time frame, higher highs, higher lows.
Yep.
I think it's bullish, you know? Like I do not think that you can be bearish this chart if you are holding crypto right now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think we're going to see a higher low in here, whether the bottom's in or we get one more stab down. But big resistance. I mean, support level. This 270, 275. So tons and tons of support directly below. Kind of front running that now. So I am aware that we can see one more little stab. Like if you drop it down to the lower time frame here on the daily, right?
I think you just look to flip that gap, and then that's going to be monster support.
Yeah, so either this is a beautiful triple bottom, right? Kind of on the
or
daily
one
time
more sweep
frame,
of the low.
Or it's a false trapdoor bang, right? You come into here, and then you find the bottom in here. But I've been adding to my Coinbase bag in these levels, anywhere in this blue box, just in case, right? This is the kind of that front run bottom, right? And then we squeeze up into this big gap here. So I've now compounded my coin stock position. And so far so good. So far so good. But yeah, I would say if you reclaim like 330-ish, right? You start reclaiming these highs. This is probably the bottom. Equity's chatting today, huh?
Yeah.
I'm liking this separation the S&P is getting from this cluster.
I like
Right.
it too.
Yeah.
Would like to
'cause-
see it continue straight higher up.
Yeah, you can't really continue doing this kind of like sluggish shop, because then eventually that's going to be like that. So I don't know who was talking about this, but I was saying how like either this is going to, you're going to probably run some of these, maybe flip the old all-time high into support. And then you can continue, or this, the S&P needs to kind of separate from this sluggish action and get some separation. And so we're starting to see that. So, if this could hold and continue this separation kind of from this last couple months and start to put in a more vertical trajectory, risk assets are still, on the table here. You got the Russell just absolutely chatting, like pulling the
Louis, what happens to crypto when the Russell makes new highs? Can you help
Cycle
me?
top is in.
I said Louis.
I knew he is going to answer like honestly, so I had to step in.
Well, wait, are you saying you weren't honest about cycle top being in? He must be new to crypto. Okay.
I prefer not to speak.
Is this in log? It doesn't seem like it's in log. Well, that's a good question, Max. It's a good question.
Looks like cycle top is in.
And we're gonna meme that so much. I don't want to accidentally manifest it. We should stop making that joke.
Who's joking? Every day I'll double down. There's no stopping.
So in 2020, right, you had the Russell breaking all-time highs in around November, and soon followed by that, you had the total crypto market cap chart breaking out a month later, right? So when the Russell enters price discovery, crypto enters price discovery. You could even do it a little further and use a different chart. You could use total excluding BTC and ETH, which I like. It's pretty much the altcoin market cap chart because it accounts for everything except Bitcoin and ETH, because obviously Bitcoin and ETH are a large chunk of the market. So they do kind of skew the data a little bit. I think I had it drawn like this when I did my video. So I did a video on this as well a couple of weeks ago, two or 3 weeks ago. But yeah, so this is altcoins. And as you had the Russell breaking out of all-time highs, you had altcoins beginning to enter a parabolic curve into price discovery, breaking its kind of bottoming structure.
How do you reconcile that opinion with the cycle top being in?
Well, cycle top's not in. We haven't even had a cycle yet.
I feel bad for you.
Most it's okay. It's all right. The
Louis,
difference this time
is was I don't think about you at all.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. I don't think about that at all. I don't draw those.
That's a Mad Men quote.
The difference is, and we know what happens. Let's actually look at the chart. The real chart here. This paints a better picture. Let's get rid of this. Let's get this here. All right. This is that same chart we just had below, but prettier. This is the depiction of the altcoin market. Again, this is total excluding Bitcoin and ETH. So this is every other digital asset in the asset class as a whole, not including Bitcoin and ETH. So altcoins, right?
That looks really bullish, bro.
This
so ready to go.
We are literally, as we speak, are pressing, compressing, consolidating directly under the 2021 all-time high, guys.
But double top. Got it.
And we've already rejected, right? So we already this is January, right? This is at December, January. We kind of had that, Trump presidential pump. We clearly rejected at the 2021 all-time high resistance. We had that multi-month long consolidation pullback, which was clearly seen in ETH and altcoins across the board. We've since then regathered strength, stair-stepped market structure, broken out of this multi-month consolidation, has held this kind of consolidation breakout, 8 weekly closes above this kind of breakout, this level that you want to see hold for a breakout of this nature. And now we're just slowly curling up into the all-time high. And then this, above the 2021 all-time high is where quote unquote alt season occurs, right? What that looks like this go around, we don't know yet. We're going to find out. But this is how close, great representation of how close we really are to seeing the altcoin market go on, have some sustained rallies of some sort. This is it's a nice uptrend, but it's a bit of a slow grind, right? We've had multi-month consolidations along the way, a couple of them. This is the part of the cycle and the part of this trend where if you see the asset class breaking into all-time highs, you're in that blue sky territory, you're in price discovery, you should start to see this kind of trend start to curl up and start to see, steepening and that more parabolic stage of the cycle and, possibly taking us to these valuations. So, this is a bullish looking chart any which way you look at it. But if you like looking at this, it looks bullish. But if you look at sentiment across the board in crypto, it's in shambles, right? So
you know what else is in shambles?
The like button.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Wow. I've cooked up a lot today, and that really disappoints me.
I would actually say that you've cooked up a little bit too much, Louis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because clearly the cycle top is in on the like button, and I'm not joking about that one.
Wow.
You guys want to do something about it, or just not like the stream? You know what I mean?
They better, because
I feel like I've lost confidence. Like this growing pessimism within me in regards to the like button. I don't know if the like button will ever be the same as it once was. Like I think that there's been irreparable damage to the sentiment around the like button. I'm not even mad. I'm not even disappointed. I'm mortified at the state of the like button right now. It's worse than even previously even thought possible. It's way worse. Way worse. We're not even at 100 likes, guys.
damn.
Okay, 108. Not bad. The panic liking begins. I don't know, guys. I dream of a world in which we get more likes,
This definitely must be the worst period for this space ever.
They're gonna come back in droves when we're up in here, guys. I actually like that, the YouTube numbers are down. You can see it on Twitter. Engagement's down. Even the Discord engagement is down. The chats are quiet. That's indicative of a bottom, right? Not a top, right? So what's going to happen is that the market's going to break out. Altcoins are going to go on massive rallies. Everyone's going to come back to crypto. Everyone's going to think they're early. Everyone's going to start watching the channel, all build up, having a happy-go-lucky time. Going to be asking us what we're buying, what we're looking at, although we've been accumulating all the way down here. And then they're going to get burned, and the market's going to top, and then they're going to turn around and say, wow, these guys have no idea what they're talking about. And that's kind of the life cycle of it. And that's just kind of the nature of markets. People are going to come when it's green, and they're going to leave when it's, not fun and red. And that's just kind of how it happens. So although it's sad, right, that I'm wasting a lot of breath here, which I don't think, I am, right? The people that are here deserve this alpha, but they should be hitting the like button. That's for sure. But they will come back, and they will buy their assets at the price they deserve, right? So I like that engagement's down. I really do, because that's indicative that there's no excess froth in the market and that we have tons of room to run. And this chart is very indicative of that, in my opinion.
There's an alternative to this, Louis. We will pump. Everyone's going to get excited for like 3 days. And then it's range for another 3 months.
Man, if that happens.
Check. What's wrong with you? You need a lobotomy, man. You're sick.
We pump the summer of 2026.
You guys didn't get this cycle yet. It's always pump, very exciting 3 days, and then 3 months range.
Yeah,
in that range, you keep hearing about cycle top is in, right? Bulls get exhausted. Then we pump for 3 days. Bears look like an idiots. Bulls get ecstatic. And then it's a range again. And then bears again calling for cycle top.
Well, I don't even know what to say back to that other than if we're not significantly higher by like middle of January, I'm going to have a Britney Spears meltdown and shave my head on the show. And that's it. That's what it is.
What do you guys think is needed for this market to mentally recover?
Well, here's the problem. I don't think that there is recovering. I think those that have emotionally and financially capitulated are done because everybody thought that they had the stomach to hold altcoins and beta. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. Like I can easily handle it. And like the truth is most people don't have the stomach for it. They can't handle the whipsaws. They can't handle the pressure, the pain. They thought that they could, and they can't. So most of them have already sold or capitulated. And proof of that is like I have DMs with people that like randomly messaged me, a year ago. And they're like, oh, bro, like I'm so hyped on like Pepe. And like, I just put in like my last $16 and like, I'm so like pumped, bro. Thank you for the analysis. And I'm like, yeah, of course, man. Like, best of luck. And then suddenly I like check it out and then they're blocked on my profile. And I only block people if they just make like a random personal attack. I have a 0 strike policy. Like you just like I wake up one day and I just see like some bizarre freakazoid being like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, how could you said this? And then, you're an idiot. I'm just like, all right, block, like I don't need to see that shit. I'm done with you. So it's like people have gone from avid supporters to like avid copers, haters, and I don't think there's any coming back from that, honestly. Like, I think that the amount of people that have gone from like, I'm into the beta, I can handle it, I'm ready for all this, good and bad, to I hate you, you're an idiot, I've sold everything. I don't think there's coming back. I think the first wave of retail got carted out already, and we're going to see the second wave of retail enter when we break this chart total 3 and we go into price discovery. That new second wave of retail is coming. And I think they're going to make money for a bit before they inevitably lose all their money doing the same thing that wave 1 did. But I think we kind of have 2 waves of retail. There will be no recovering for those people. The people that got carted out and they couldn't take it, they thought they could handle beta. They could not. They're done. But I think we do have a second wave of retail that's coming. Personally.
Mm-hmm. But that comes like at 3 trillion on this chart.
You know what the problem is? Some of you guys don't know how to properly be a part of a cult, and it really shows. Okay. You need to understand that when
The
Pepe
XRP.
drops, I become more of a Pepe supporter. I become more of a freak because the rule one of being part of a meme coin cult is that you fully convince yourself to a point of denial that no matter what the chart looks like, it's bullish, right? A lot of you don't understand how to actually be a part of a beta cult, okay? And it's time to grow up. That's the truth. You thought that you could handle it, but you couldn't. You know, you couldn't enter that state of pure delirium where nope, it's bullish. We're going to the moon, baby. I don't care what the chart looks like. And you got to have a little bit of that. You have to trust the high time frame. You have to trust the guys that are the biggest accounts that are, you know, freaking out about it. You got to trust that everything is going to work out. Because the truth is your beta asset's going to pull back 5 times, minus 65% plus pullbacks, again, a half dozen times before it finally moons. And you have to be okay with that. Study being a part of a cult in the right way. You just don't get it. You know, you just
too
don't.
many cheats. Too many cheats, Max.
Too many lettuce hands, man.
Lettuce.
Oh,
lettuce.
Wah. My asset pulled back minus 70%. Oh, wah. Grow up, man. Seriously.
You gotta love crypto because it's the only asset class that can eventually make you regret selling something that pulls back like 70 or 80%.
Bizarro land for sure.
Dude, when shit pulls back minus 70%, I literally just double down. And I'm like, well, if not me, then who? Wish me luck, you know? Like you have to be made it like that, you know? You have to have that in you, you know? You have to have that stomach for it, man, where you're just like, I'm either about to make it or go belly up and then I'll try again, you know? Or just go buy Bitcoin and be smart, you know?
There was an
There's 2
old
options.
saying by Will. You either end up rich or under the bridge.
I told everyone that months and months ago. I said, you're either about to watch me make like $100 million or be literally homeless. There's no in between. It is what it is, you know? I told everyone very clearly what I'm trying to do.
Husband, you put our net worth into cryptocurrencies and now we are homeless. You know the meme I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I've seen a few that are like that. They're like, babe, please stop buying. Like, we have bills to pay.
Double bottom. Yeah. Feels like that sometimes. Double bottom.
Okay, hang on. This is an incredibly offensive comment. Listen here, Carlos, I'm going to give you one warning here, okay? That type of language and characterizations, I will mention inaccurate characterizations, are incredibly hurtful, okay? Not everybody here has 2 of which you mentioned, okay? Don't you dare pluralize me on my own show in front of my teammates, okay? You pluralized me. I am a singular ball holder. There's one. I demand an apology. This is the worst tragedy of the week, and it's been a heavy week. We're not going to get into it, but and I'm actually mad at my team for not having my back here. I mean, I shouldn't have had to be the one to call this out. You guys know
Max,
to pluralize somebody is worse than being racist. You know,
I was literally reading that comment and I was gonna step in, but I didn't want to cut you out from your speech. Literally was reading that.
Well, actually, you know, it doesn't.
Plural.
You know, you say that, Jackus, in hindsight. You know, like you say you were going to defend my singularity, but you didn't. Okay.
Referring
actions,
to it as
Jackus. I want actions.
So good.
He said sorry.
Well,
that's fine, Carlos. Let's just not let it happen again. Okay.
You said sorry, but did you ever say thank you?
Max, the best I can do is this.
You know what the most concerning part of that meme is, Jackus? Is that when you initially posted it, he had 2.
Yeah.
And I said, that's horribly offensive and inaccurate. And that's not me. I have 1. And then within, I swear, 15 seconds, you had that one made and ready to go. It was
It
the
is what it
speed
is.
in which you created the accurate version of me as Pepe, you know.
That's actually the most accurate picture of you.
And I will mention that's actually very accurate, like size and proportionate. Like that's, I mean, it's almost like you were like
Studied.
I'm gonna leave it at that. But I mean, great meme, you know. That's also accurate. Yeah. Yeah, Jackus is the king of memes for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It
Thank
has
you.
to go down again. Just loading the shotgun. I still think Bitcoin looks pretty good here, guys. I do. It's definitely a meat grinder, but there's clearly some effort being put into saving the structure.
I'm waffling back and forth on whether or not I think Bitcoin looks good here, which probably means it's going to chop.
I'm getting bullish. That means one more sweep of the low.
mean,
They are
this is
so cute
textbook,
when
though.
they fight.
Louis, can you do me a favor? See the low? It was like the first couple days of August, that low right in the middle, that drop right there. Can you just draw a line across that low right there? I mean, that's a good looking reclaim, guys. Like anybody that's sold or shorted down there is.
Look at this right here. Look at the symmetry here.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed today is
washed.
we haven't really talked about this asset much today, but I think Solana looks a lot like the S&P, like the way it's traded for the last few weeks.
Yes, it does. Kind of like breaking away from this, what looks like a heavy structure, and in reality is pre-parabolic structure, right? Very similar to Hyperliquid.
Are we going to pump while I'm on vacation?
Yes.
It did pump when I was on vacation last year. I will say that.
This is also true. This is true.
Yeah.
And I think it's largely tied to what Solana represents, right? Like if Sol can really stick the landing on this breakout, which it's looking better and better every day. I think the entire shitcoin space is going to start really, really cooking here.
Yeah, this looks good. The key point here that most are missing, they're on the lower time frames looking at this, right? Looking for the drop, but what they're not seeing is the reclaim of this structure. Right? You're trading back above these highs, so you had a clear range, you broke out of that range, you lost it, right? They saved it, flipped it into support, and now you're reclaiming these highs. So back above these highs, you're bullish. You're back to risk on, right? So your Sol drop was saved here, right? If it was going to drop, it would have came from here.
Louis, throw up the meat stick meter on Sol, man. The thing is just screaming green across the board. Screaming green. Everything.
Yep.
Look at all the higher time frames. All scores of 10 are up, you know.
So is Bitcoin too. Yeah, Bitcoin too is. And this looks a lot like, and I've shown this fractal before. This looks a lot like, and I talked about it on the show, the ETH fractal. Maybe I could put it down below here. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's put ETH down below. This looks a lot like this.
Yeah, just like a higher time frame version of that.
Yep. Where?
Listen, you guys are getting a bit too hopeful, but you didn't get it. We will never pump again.
There he is. You're learning. I'm so proud of you, Jackus.
Give me harder battles.
You're still alive?
Yeah, this looks exactly like this. And again, the second ETH reclaimed these highs, you're back to risk on, and was a pretty much a face ripping rally to 5K. So, yeah, Sol looks really good here. Sol looks really good.
What do the Bitcoin charts look like?
Bullish.
They're gonna make me eat my words on Sol BTC? Question mark. I don't know. It still needs to clear that high, Sol BTC. The wick from God, the SBR candle. Cat PTSD gif.
Do you want to look at Sol BTC?
Yeah.
I know there's a pair that Jackus is going to yell at me for not using. Let me turn this off for a second. Let's go to the weekly.
I don't know how to feel about this. Why do you have the pair typed so oddly, Louis?
I don't know.
I didn't say it.
Like, what is that? What is that algorithm you use to put that on the chart?
I'm a boomer when it comes to that stuff. It's fine. It's fine.
Both of you just found out today that there's something called fixed volume range, and you can use it on TradingView. So,
well, I've been using it. I just didn't know you could pull it up
Yeah.
that easily. I thought you had to go on indicators.
Yeah.
just
And-
like that.
Yeah.
Why do I do that? I don't know. I don't know.
It stops being funny in a second. It's like funny, and then
No, it reminds me of that Tropic Thunder scene I was quoting last week. I don't read script reads me. He's got like the happy face, and then he goes back to serious because he broke the character. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
What does ETH BTC look like?
They're gonna have to make me hold my smile now.
Yeah.
You want me to
Okay.
talk about the VIX? It's in an interesting spot. I will say that.
Interesting spot to wrap it up.
I could still see the VIX go for a stroll. It is September, after all. September seasonality deniers will not like that, though. I don't know. I think you'll get clarity on what the VIX is going to do in the next few sessions. If it hasn't broken down, if we don't see things like NVIDIA, in my opinion, the market leader, make new highs within the next few sessions, then I do think range and maybe even some more like a correction into the end of the month.
Man, stocks look so good today.
So last thing I'll ask before we can kind of wrap the show up. What do you guys think about the data that I know we were talking about it a little bit yesterday, but 50 basis points, no 50 basis points. What are we going to get next week?
I don't think we're getting 50. I think we're going to get 25.
I think we're going to get 50.
Tommy,
I think.
what are the odds at this morning? I haven't even checked.
On Polymarket.
14. What other economic data could we receive before FOMC that would potentially tip the scales a little bit more?
I know we got some data that was not CPI earlier this morning. I think it was jobless claims. That's also pretty bad indication for labor market strength.
I know that I think it was the initial jobless claims. I know it was the highest that it's been since like maybe October 22 or something like that. It's been a while, but it's still historically low, right? Like it's still, I think until you get above like 300K, it's still pretty low. Is that Tommy?
Everyone sees it, man. Everyone.
When Tommy gets his
top right.
Yeah.
What?
When Tommy gets his event.
When the VIX finally
they're talking
spiked.
about the top right picture. That
Yeah, that's you. That's you when you
That's
get your
you.
event.
When the VIX finally spikes to 500, that's going to be Tommy.
500. Jesus, can you imagine?
No.
Tommy probably has imagined that.
I have not imagined the VIX going that high. That would literally be like everything to zero.
How about 100?
100?
Come on.
I
That's just
can't
barely
do 100.
above like the COVID highs or great financial crisis.
Best
Just think
I
about
can do is-
Taiwan, Tommy. Think about Taiwan.
Best I can do is like 80 or 90. But I don't think that's gonna. I
That would be
really don't think
horrific.
that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. Nothing's impossible, but I would be really surprised if it did.
Yeah, we'd also be pretty poor if that happened. So let's avoid that.
I mean, to me, like this, yeah, it looks like 117's on the table here, boys. As long as we can hold these highs.
Max, tell him the line.
118.
No, he didn't get it.
Let me try again. Ask it one more time.
Max, tell him the line.
Top is in.
Yes.
Not just local top, cycle top.
And we will never pump again.
Correct.
This Monday low sweep, what was that? Not yesterday. We got 2 days ago was criminal too. A lot of people freaking out on Tuesday on this drop. Whoops. Sorry about you.
It's a shame the cycle top is in. Structure does look good, but I don't make the rules. All right, Tommy, take us out.
Yeah, that's a good spot to wrap to wrap us up, guys. Thanks for tuning into Market Check today. A reminder that we are live Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So make sure to tune in tomorrow for the weekly wrap up. We'll call it. But yeah, we go live during those days with a typical start time around 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you enjoyed the stream today, the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. That is when you can typically catch us. Of course, also make sure to tune in for Market Talk, hosted by the legendary King Wabi. That is an X Spaces hosted, not just through Wabi's account, but also through the Because Bitcoin X account. So make sure to stay following and subscribe to both of them so you can be notified not just when we schedule those spaces, but of course also when we go live. We've also got some various programming throughout the week as well that you can catch on spaces. So again, just more emphasis on following and subscribing to those accounts so you can be notified ahead of time and, I guess right in the moment as well. But maybe this market has been beating you down. Maybe you're enjoying the environment that we have right now. Maybe you're just looking for edge, whether that be, trading perps, whether that is trading on chain. We do have some killer new products that we've launched here over the last few weeks that you should definitely be checking out, starting with the Volume Fusion Pro Discord, guys. If you want access to some of the indicators that Max has been working on that are actively beating the market, we have given you the opportunity to be able to do that. All you need to do is sign up using our Blowfin referral link. You'll be given access to the Discord. If you do enough volume, you'll probably get some access to some additional strategies as well. But again, I don't want to give away too much about what we are cooking up down the pipeline. Of course, as well, if you're trying to gain an edge on chain, we have just launched our brand new DGen page. So if you're looking for an edge on Sol, on ETH, and as I was joking yesterday, maybe even SUI NFTs, I do know some people who dabble in those. Check out the DGen page. It's a killer product. Our dev has been working tirelessly to make sure that it is the best catered product to your needs. Just check it out. I promise you will not be disappointed. But that's it from us, guys. We hope you enjoyed the stream today. I'm going to play a quick commercial for the BB terminal as we head out. But until then, guys, or until next time, rather, thank you again, as always, for tuning in. And of course, stay safe.
Tired of outdated trading tools, confused charts, dozens of tabs, endless stress? You're not alone. Introducing BB Terminal, your all-in-one command center for crypto trading. Track your portfolio, monitor the markets, stay ahead, all in one place. From chaos to clarity, from struggle to success. BB Terminal.